pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Rem Kassoon.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
John Francois.
Here.
Summers. Absent. Witt.
Here.
Kleiner.
Here.
Burr.
Here.
Massey.
Here.
President Rodriguez.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Approval of minutes.
We have 2 minutes tonight. It's from the Common Council meeting September 20th, 2016, and Common Council minutes October 4th, 2016.
I got a motion to approve both minutes.
So moved.
Kleiner, all Massey, all in favor?
Aye.
Correspondence.
There is no correspondence this evening.
For the good of the city, anyone would like to address this council, please step forward.
Good evening, Your Honor, and President Rodriguez, members of the council. I was happy to read this week in the press about the efforts going forward with the building of the anticipated transportation hub and where the current short line bus stop is. I think that's something that's very crucial to the continued growth and prosperity of our city. It's like, in part, the center of our city, and if we have a very effective and attractive center location for commerce, I think that will continue to attract new businesses, entrepreneurship, and the development. And I think the goal to make North Street particularly, once again, the thriving hub it was in the golden age. I think, especially when we're trying to move the city towards a new golden age. So I'm happy to see that. And as someone who frequently used to ride the short line when I was working mostly in the city, I'm happy to see the steps taken in that direction. I commend the Common Council, the mayor, and I hope that the efforts go towards making that a reality.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to address the council? Okay. Remarks of department heads, economic development.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to update you on the downtown revitalization efforts this weekend. The planning group and members of the committee and so forth are going to be at 3 different events, and it's going to be, they're going to have a DRI booth to share the vision for downtown Middletown. So October 22nd, which is Saturday at the Farmers Market, which in conjunction with Park and Rec is the Harvest Festival and Trunk or Treat. They'll be setting up there from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then in the afternoon from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. they're going to be at the Middletown YMCA for their Halloween fall event. And then on Sunday, October 23rd from 2 p.m. to 4, there's an event at SUNY Orange, the Greater Middletown Interfaith Council. So DRI is going to be setting up a booth there, and it's going to be to just chat with folks, and people could come up and see what's the planning process and ask questions and so forth. So that's what they have scheduled for this weekend. So you can see we're moving forward on the downtown revitalization initiative. And that's all I have for this evening.
Any question for Maria? Thank you, Maria. Police Department, Police Chief. Acting.
Good evening. I have nothing for the council this evening unless you have anything for me.
Any questions for the Chief? Thank you, Chief. DPW Commissioner.
Good evening, all. Report to you on the progress that we're doing. The work on Hampshire area for installing the culverts under Birch Drive has been completed. Also, obviously we are in drought condition, and our reservoirs are still in good shape, but we keep praying and hoping for rain. The whole region is in semi-drought condition. Tomorrow we're going to be doing some work on North Street in preparation for the Woolworth building. The mayor has started a project in there to revitalize the Woolworth building and create a trail in there. Part of the work is we have to install brand-new water line to provide service and fire protection for the building. So tomorrow morning, we'll be interrupting the traffic, closing the road to tap into the water line. So everybody, please be aware of that inconvenience. We had the DEC do an unannounced inspection of our wastewater treatment plant like they do every year, and I believe everything went very well. Today we had DEC, another division, come and inspect a few of our high hazard dams, and they were impressed of what they saw, and compliments to our guys who take care of these dams, and they keep them on top shape. So hopefully we'll get a good report from the DEC on the dams. We continue to seek reimbursement, believe it or not, for Irene from 2011, and just last week we got another check from the Homeland Security. The federal share was $62,000, and the state share was $20,000. So we're still getting some reimbursement for Irene and the damage that took place back in 2011. With that, if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any question for Jacob? Jacob, there's work going on by Washington Street, correct? Is that the line?
Yes,
The
yes,
sewer line?
yes.
Is
I'll
it-
be happy to report to you on that if you like.
Sure.
Yeah, this is the Sterling Street Sewer project, which is Phase 2, and we have done about 380 feet of 18-inch pipe bursting method of installing the pipe, and that was very successful. So the contractor sun up, he's working. We're trying, all the work is in the backyards. It's very tight quarters. They're trying the best. They're trying all they can to do a good job with least disruptive for people. But regardless, you're still cutting through people's backyard. You see here is a swimming pool. Here is a dog house. And in the middle, we have a big ditch in there for the sewer line. So, again, we apologize for the residents in that area, and we are trying to address their concerns and complaints as soon as they occur.
So is that storm or sewer?
Sewer, yes, sir.
So is that,
Sanitary sewer, yeah.
it's gonna help with the, in the long run, right?
It will help us in the I&I, in infiltration and inflow, to minimize the peak flows at the wastewater treatment plant and potential sanitary sewer overflows, meaning sewage spilling into the street when we have high event of rain. So when you have a new pipe, the old pipe was almost semi-collapsed, full of roots, and a great source of groundwater. It runs parallel to the Draper Brook, so we believe it to be a great source of infiltration. So hopefully it will be a big help for us to minimize the
How big is the pipe?
inflow and infiltration. 15 and 18 inch.
Two of them,
Well, it's the pipe, the sizes change.
okay.
I believe we start with 18 and then we go up to 15. What's
Okay.
that?
Alderman Kleiner?
Okay. Commissioner, we have a resolution for leaf pickup
Yes.
on the agenda tonight, and starting November 1st.
Yes.
And would you just talk about that a little bit? And when that happens, do we stop picking up yard waste for that period? Is that
No,
what
we'll
happens?
still pick up yard waste.
We still do?
Yes, we
Okay.
still do pick up yard
Oh.
waste. The only thing is the leaf pickup in there, it has to be council resolution. That's why you will be,
Right.
should you decide, should you approve it. It's a council resolution in there authorizing for people to put leaves on the street up to 4 feet from the curb, and then the city of Middletown will come and pick it up. If you have long branches in there or something like that, continue to wrap them per our code. You can continue to put the branches in the cans, and we will pick them up. But
Okay.
that's basically for the leaves, what you will be
right.
approving tonight, hopefully.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Alderman Rankin-Sue?
Just to clarify, the North Street work, that's going to be between West Main and Orchard then? That'll be closed, that whole section, or?
It's going to be between King Street and, obviously
Yeah.
King Street, there is no traffic anymore, so it's going to be from Franklin Square, West Main, East
Down to
Main,
Orchard.
all the way to Orchard, yes. But, hopefully it's going to be just for a few hours. Local traffic will be permitted to go in and out. The major interruption, the blocking the road, is going to be by Woolworth
Okay.
Building. And because that's where the excavation is going to take place, there is fiber optic cables in there, very close to the main, and it's going to be a little bit complicated. We have to tap into the line. We just bought a brand-new tapping machine, so it's going to be learning and doing installation as well. the manufacturer will be there of the tapping machine that we just purchased. So it's going to be exciting. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town tomorrow, but I'll be on call. In case something happens, I'll interrupt whatever I'm doing and I'll come back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jacob.
Yes, sir.
Treasurer?
Well, again, what we're working on mostly is the budget, obviously, with an eye towards getting it approved on December 6th. And so that's moving along. All the department heads have been really helpful. This Friday, we're going to have our tax lien sale. And if it's like in the past, it should produce somewhere in the $1 million range. That's what it's done in the past. And if any of you see Lori Banks, she completed her 30th anniversary this week. So if you see her, wish her well.
Any questions for Don? Thank you, Don. Corporation Counsel.
Good evening. Just to clarify that last point from our treasurer, the tax lien sale this week is the bulk sale that we tend to do every year, and that we have special state legislation that gets renewed every 2 years. We've been getting calls to our office, and I'm sure our treasurer has as well. People sometimes inquire, well, when will the city conduct a new tax auction for the tax liens that are not picked up in bulk? Right now, I think the projection is December 10th. Yeah, Saturday, December 10th, I believe it is going to be right here. So I just wanted to clarify that this week is the bulk sale, and the 10th will be whatever's left over. That will come from the treasurer's office. Yeah.
Any questions for the Corporation Counsel?
The bulk sale is this weekend?
Yeah, that's with a company that we've contracted with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they go through and they buy our liens in bulk. This started in the 1990s, and it's been very successful for us.
And that's not open to the public?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Anyone else? Thank you, Richard. City Clerk.
Okay, just a reminder, if anybody doesn't know, the election is November 8th, and all of the election spots in the city of Middletown will be open. If there's any question about where people can vote, they can call my office at 346-4166 or the Board of Elections at 360-6500. Usually every year we have to change the council meeting because it falls on Tuesday, but this year, because of the way the month fell, we did not. So our next meeting is going to be November 1st at 8 p.m. Just another, to let everyone know that the Harvest Festival is this weekend, and part of Montgomery Street will be closed, and that's been on the website, just so everybody knows. It's just going to be a little, very small piece of Montgomery Street. That's all I have for
Any
this.
question for John? Thank you, John. Mayor?
Good evening. I first wanted to share with you an email that we got from the SUNY Orange student group. I'm not sure the name of them, but this Jaskaran Singh is the one who sent it. That tomorrow or Thursday night, SUNY will be sponsoring an awareness dinner event to help the people of Haiti through the, as you know, who suffered through the Matthew storm last year. Each year they do this fundraiser, and they pick a different organization or group to assist. And this year it's the people of Haiti. So anyone who can make it, it's open to the public, 6:30 to 9 p.m., and it's hosted by the International Club SUNY Orange. I want to thank Mr. Gomez for his nice words on the bus station. Just for the public consumption, this project began in actually 2003, and you can see how long government projects can take to come about. Initially, and the paper did touch on it, I was opposed to the project because back in 2003, 2004, all it was just a basic aesthetic, cosmetic repair of the bus station. What you see now is the product of about 10 years of lobbying by Mr. Twiel and myself and others in city government. And I think when you saw the renderings in the paper and the planning board presentation the other night, that it will be something that we will be very happy with the end product. The trail, the Heritage Trail, will be coming in on the, I believe, the east side, and will be coming out, heading right through downtown. It'll be also a depot for the intra-city bus stop, and the bus that does go out to the surrounding shopping areas. We'll also have taxi service and covered bus depots also, so people aren't sitting out in the weather. But we're already seeing much more improvement in that area. Middletown Lanes has just recently completed their exterior renovation, and looks very nice. Excuse me. And our plans on the Schumer grant, the earmark money, is to focus on sidewalks, which is 20,000 linear feet of sidewalks on the entrances into the downtown, the high pedestrian areas. And my discussions with Mr. Tweel up to this point we're looking at Wickham Avenue as it comes into the downtown area, Grove Street, the area around Thrall Park, and both sides of Grove Street. So, and we have more to go. Also, in part of in regards to sidewalks, the federal grant program that will begin, I believe, in 18, with all the intersection improvements and traffic lights, and basically the Complete Streets program, where pedestrian crossings, handicap accessible intersections, that will also add 7,500 linear feet of new sidewalk and curbing at every intersection in the city that has a traffic light, with the exception of Walk-Hill Avenue and Lake Avenue. So over the next couple of years, we'll be seeing a lot of construction, a lot of new sidewalk work, and obviously both safer and aesthetically more pleasing. And keeping up with the tradition of the work, we're getting a lot of calls about Orange and Rockland's work, especially on Wickham Avenue and 211. As you come into the city, Jacob has assured me that all of that will be corrected. It's not going to be patched as was done in the past with Bedford Avenue. I think it's going to be more of a patch or a paving job, similar to what we did on Commonwealth and Watkins, where Orange and Rockland will be paying the brunt of or all of the cost. So until that job is complete, you will see we might want to delay it, especially if we're going to be doing sidewalks. So you might have to suffer for, we're trying to find out what the drawdown schedule is for the sidewalk replacement in the areas that we're doing them. Don had touched on the budget and the requests from the department heads, and keep in mind, these are just not only requests in the operating budget, but a lot of the submissions were made that were also capital budget items. The Board of Estimates have been meeting. Our first round, we have met with each department head, and we have dwindled down the excess request from $3 million plus to a little over $1 million, which is still going to be require doing nothing at all from this point on. Still going to require a significant subsidy of the city fund balance and one-shot revenues to maintain the tax levy. We have more cuts to make, and we'll be making them in our second round of budget hearings that will be made up of the Board of Estimate. Council members, of course, are invited to those meetings, and we anticipate bringing the number down, but not nearly enough to cover the subsidy, not require an additional subsidy from our fund balance or our savings. As you saw this week, the proposals came in, and I believe I forwarded them to each one of you today after they were entered into by DPW on the Excel spreadsheets. And one proposal came in at 1.9 million approximately, and the other at 2.3. We will be bringing in both bidders, and we will be doing interviews, checking references, looking at what's being done in other communities, so that you all have all the information. We do plan on making those interviews with the prospective bidders public, and I know that some of you have expressed concern, not a concern, but you'd like the opportunity to be at those meetings, so we will give you ample notice. I'm trying to set them up for some time next week. At the same time, we are preparing the numbers now, finalizing the numbers for the automatic arm, so you can see both proposals side by side, and of course, at some point, you're going to have to make a decision in conjunction with, of course, the bargaining with the local union. So we, on first blush, and we can't be fooled by first blush numbers, the estimate from the Treasurer's Office is that the The sanitation being done publicly by the city crews is approximately a $3 million plus cost. And in year one of the privatization cost, the projected cost is a little under $2 million, 1.9 and change. The other bidder came in about $2.3 million, but as I said, there's been no verification, number one, of how they arrived at those numbers, and there's many factors that have to be decided before we even present an option to the union to see if it's an issue that they would like to bargain on. If not, as you know, we've been advised that this is would require a bargaining with our local union on this. If they don't agree to bargain it, then we cannot do it. At least that's what we've been advised by council. The Unitex, the laundry on Monhagan Avenue. You saw a brief notice in the paper. I believe they'll be covering it more. That the notice that they put out was that they are closing the Middletown location for economic reasons, and there's a story behind the economic reasons. Is that they have been unable to meet the federal EPA regulations in sewer discharge. They would be required to pre-treat their laundry. Apparently, they have what they're bringing here into the Middletown location has a heavy zinc content. It's my echo back here. Yeah. Zinc content. And they had Jacob has been discussing with them opportunities to try to reduce that based on redirecting some of the laundry that's coming here to other places and reducing the volume of this laundry that's coming with the high zinc content. This is not a city decision. This is an EPA decision that we have to enforce our discharge ordinances, so we will have to violate them, of course, because they were in violation. And I know Maria has been trying to meet with them for the past year or so, trying to work something out to see if we can do anything with our IDA or any other method to try to keep them here. I believe they made a business decision to not install the pretreatment that would be required to meet the EPA standards here in New York, but that in the Jersey facility and some of the other facilities, they have capacity for this type of treatment or this type of laundry that's coming in. But at the same time, and I think the Jersey facility has a pretreatment process in place already. So the downside of all this is a loss of 65 jobs and 65 families that are going to be impacted by the loss, and from hopefully, and we have been able to confirm that some of the people will be offered positions at their Newburgh, and I believe they have a laundry location in Monroe also. But we haven't received confirmation of that. The second side is that they are a heavy water and sewer user, as you can imagine a laundry would be, and it's about I believe $170,000 impact on our water and sewer budget. So we still believe that with the additional water sales that are projected for the town of Wawayanda, that we will be able to make up a good chunk of that with the hotel that's being constructed on Dolson Ave, off of Dolson, and the laundry down there, not a commercial laundry, but just a household laundry, I guess you call it, and also a car wash that's being constructed, and other development down at that end. So that's some good news and some bad news. I do need a executive session for two reasons. One is potential litigation, and the other is to discuss a proprietary concept of a prospective business. Any questions?
Alderman Johnson?
With respect to the laundry, I had two questions. What's the timeline, and I assume they own that building?
They actually own the building. They've been there for quite a few years. Mm-hmm. I don't know what their they gave us notice as required by law, because I believe over a certain amount of employees getting laid off, they have to give appropriate notice. But I don't know. We've actually had, as I said, for the past year, problems with communicating with the ownership or the management there. Maria, I know, has paid personal visits. We also have several phone calls, but obviously they weren't interested in talking to us about the opportunity to stay here.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Alderman Burr?
One quick question on sanitation, Joe. Are you trying to do that in this year's budget, the truck or the privatizer, or for next year's budget?
We're not projecting any savings in this year's budget.
Okay.
But I would, and once we make a decision on this, I don't think a decision will be made by
Right.
the time
right.
budget's adopted.
Exactly.
But we need to move in 17 now. We're ready to move, and then we'll see impact on not only 18's budget, but also 17's implementation of the 17 budget, either way, assuming that we
Negotiate with the
Right.
unions.
But I can't be more clear on that the ball will be in their court if privatization is the way we want to pursue it. And you can't make that decision until you see both side-by-side numbers, impact on jobs, and all of those things. But we're putting together all the information. The spreadsheet is there. There'll be more documentation coming and more information coming about, as I said, about what they're doing in other communities, access to landfills. We don't want someone who can, after a year, say, hey, I have no place to dump it, or my tipping costs. Is there a formula in place that if their tipping costs go up, do our tipping costs go up? And does that 1.9 million go up to 2.4 million, and to see what the savings is. And it's not a short-term savings, as Mr. Massey put together the proposal correctly. He's looking at over a 10-year period, and I think both of them have focused in on the Taylor contract that we have in place, but we don't know if Taylor is ever going to come to fruition also. So there's a lot of factors that got to be considered.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Reports of Alderman. Alderman Massey.
Good evening. And Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry to hear about although I did hear about it, the laundry. You hate to see that happen. I do have three quick things. This past Saturday, I want to give a shout out and congratulations to the rec department, and especially Nicole and all the volunteers. She had her first annual, and I believe it's going to be annual, after speaking with her today, scavenger hunt, and it was a good time for those people who are involved, and I think it'll only grow. So thank you very much for that.
Tell everybody who won?
I'm sorry, what?
Who won the event?
I thought
scavenger.
I thought that you would announce that the team I was part of won. However, let me clarify. It was rigged. And rigged in this way, not that anyone had any prior knowledge, but the team I was on, our average age was probably 60. The other 6 teams, I think there was one team where they had some women that may have been in their 30s or 40s, but the other ones were young kids. And so when the clues were, where was Kernighan's, where was the Times Herald record before, we obviously had that information in our, because we're so old. So yes, but thank you, Mary, yes, our team did win.
Thank you.
The second thing I have, and I'll be bringing it before the council, I want to make copies of everything. I'll make sure it's in your box in the next day or so. I've spoken with the mayor, spoken with Jacob, and I've spoken with Mr. Girton. Last week, I think it was Thursday, 2 members of the Middletown, the Garden Society, Garden Club came to visit. And they have a project called History of Blue Star Memorial Markers. And it's a national project. I think the closest one is Pine Bush. Anyway, what it is, it's putting up a plaque in Thrall Park. They maintain it. It will cost the city nothing, but I'll get further into this. And it's honoring everyone who has served, is serving, or will serve in the military. They now take care of everything else in Thrall Park, all the other monuments, and so we'll be coming to the council to give, I think, Mr. Girton, if I'm correct, permission that will, if you would, please, so I don't misstate this.
Sure. In essence, what the council would be doing would be accepting the gift of the monument and authorizing them to place it in Thrall Park under the supervision of our Department of Public Works. So that's really what it would be.
Thank you. And like I say, I'll put that information in. The final thing, I have promised Mulberry House, the senior center, that I would make announcements when I'm aware of them, and they have a craft fair on Saturday, November 5th. I hope from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., and there's a flyers, they're on our website, and I hope people will attend. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Alderman Burr?
Oh, yeah, I just want to remind everybody that Parks and Rec, and another thing that Nicole started is the trunk or treat, and come out and support it. It runs in conjunction with the farmer's market, and it'll be this weekend, right? Correct, John? And I think the farmer's market has 2 more weeks. All right. That's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Alderman Kasum?
Thank you. The Neighborhood Watch met this past Tuesday. We had a nice crowd, so I'm happy to see the increased participation that we've seen over recent months. I hope we can continue it on. At their request, we've decided to return to monthly Neighborhood Watch meetings in the foreseeable future. That being said, the next regularly scheduled Neighborhood Watch meeting would have fallen on Election Day. Due to that and the fact that this room is unavailable, we've decided that we would be combining the Neighborhood Watch meeting for November with the 3rd Ward meeting. So those two would be combined into the Tuesday, November 22nd. And John, who's ahead of me always, has already promised to update the city calendar on the website to reflect that. So just letting everyone know, that's all I have this evening.
Alderman Johnson?
Mr. Massey's comments notwithstanding, I have nothing this evening.
Alderman Witt?
Thank you. I just have one thing. I just want to remind people that the state boys soccer championships will be held in Middletown on November 11th through the 13th. Most of the games will be at the high school. A couple of them will be at Twin Towers. This is the 7th year that the district has had it. It'll be the 10th state championship hosting overall. I say this because this means anywhere from 10 to 15,000 people will be coming into our community during that weekend, so there may be a pretty good chance for our local businesses to make some money. So be aware that the championships begin, the opening ceremonies is Friday night, and then 2 days worth of games. Thank you.
Alderman Kleiner?
Thank you. I want to congratulate Mr. Massey's team on winning the downtown scavenger hunt. And thank Nicole, who's a bundle of energy, and my fellow members of the Historical Society. And no, I did not give Mr. Massey any of the answers, so make that clear. At the events that Maria mentioned, I want to emphasize again that this is the public input part. If you have ideas for the downtown revitalization, that the Harvest Festival, it's this weekend, so on Saturday, the Harvest Festival from 11 to 1, and at the YMCA, the festival from 2 to 5, you can talk to them and give them your ideas and what you think and what you feel Middletown should be doing. And on October 23rd, the one at the SUNY Orange, the Greater Middletown Interfaith Council, that's 2 to 4 p.m. But I also have to mention that there's a variety show at SUNY Orange at 2:30 p.m. put on by the Interfaith Council, and this is a fundraiser for the warming station. So it is going to start to get cold very soon. That'll be opening in the latter half of November, but it is all funded by the Interfaith Council and the money they can raise. So the variety show should be fun if you can get there. And also, they need volunteers, and they're having training sessions starting. Actually, one is tonight. It's a little late for that one. But October 24th, November 9th, and November 28th, if you think you would be interested in volunteering to stay overnight at the warming station and help out, you can always call Nancy Sears at 342-0209, and I will definitely be repeating this at the next couple meetings, but I give a big thank you to them for what they do. And finally, for public participation too, the county water department is kicking off meetings about the Monhegan Brook watershed, and they're discussing the whole Monhegan Brook watershed and what they would like to see it become. And Wednesday, October 26th, at 3 p.m. and at 7 p.m. up at the Cornell Cooperative Extension Building, 18 Seward Avenue. Those are both public meetings, and at 4 p.m. they'll be touring the rain gardens, but they really want to get public participation in this too, so that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman John Francois.
Nothing this evening.
New business.
Okay, we have resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey to authorize the treasurer to transfer a total of $25,000 to cover unplanned insurance claim expense for the balance of the year.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, second by Alderman Consoom. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Kazoon.
Aye.
Johnson. John Francois.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr. Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson to authorize the mayor to sign a 5-year agreement with Toshiba Business Solutions covering the city's printers, copiers, supplies, and maintenance.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Massey. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Kasoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt to authorize the treasurer to transfer a total of $10,000 within the police department's budget and $130,000 from the general fund to cover shortages within overtime budget line for the remainder of the year.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Witt, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Kasoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner to schedule the general citywide cleanup period for leaves.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner, seconded by Alderman John Francois. Any discussion? Alderman Kleiner.
I just want to mention, I mean, I'm not sure we'll be publicizing this a lot, but it begins on November 1st and it runs through December 9th, and the initial pickup will go by ward. So you can see the schedule online, I'm sure. Thank you.
Anyone else? Roll.
Graham Kasoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Burr to schedule a curfew during the Halloween period.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Burr, seconded by Alderman Consoom. Any discussion? Alderman Kleiner.
Now, once again, just so people are aware, it begins on Friday, October 28th, and runs through Tuesday, November 1st, so nobody is surprised. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Also, too, to note, it will be advertised in the legal ads, and I do also send it to the schools, so
Right.
they know, too.
Good, thank you.
Roll.
Graham Kasoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois to request the County of Orange to exempt the City of Middletown from certain real estate taxes on lands solely devoted to the public use as part of the City of Middletown for watershed and related equipment for fiscal year 2018.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois, seconded by Alderman Massey. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Kasoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner to authorize the mayor to sign as the sole authorized signator a grant disbursement agreement that has been provided by Senator Bonasink to the State Municipal Facilities Capital Program in the amount of $50,000 to be used to apply toward the King Street pedestrian walkway.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner, seconded by Alderman Burr. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Kasoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois to authorize the treasurer to transfer $21,100.26 within the DPW's 2016 budget to replace the transmission in the 2006 Hyundai Loader number 1.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Ram Kasoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez. Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey. For the city to settle and close the workers' compensation tail claim for a net cost to the city of $13,306.87 to be paid within the 2016 workers' compensation budget.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Massey, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Ram Kasoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Burr to authorize the mayor to sign the attached agreement with Barton and Luis to transfer from the general fund balance the amount of $6,500 for the proposal of the city's Heritage Trail Connection Link project.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Burr, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Ram Kasoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr. Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes. That is all for new business.
Audit.
Tell me to read that, will you?
I move the accounts be audited, the claims be adjusted, and the city treasurer be authorized to issue warrants for their payment. Thank you.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Burr, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Roll.
Ram Kasoon.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Witt.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Burr.
Aye.
Massey.
Aye.
President Rodriguez.
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Alderman Johnson.
May I make motion for executive session as requested by the mayor earlier this evening?
4.
Litigation and negotiations.
Motion by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Burr. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now in executive session.